Welcome in to High Volume. This podcast is going to be a little bit different than what you've seen in the last couple of weeks. The volume won't be that high, to be honest with you. As you've heard, the Colts family has suffered a loss in the passing of our owner, Jim Irsay. I wanted to bring on a man that meant so much to Jim Irsay, and that was a hand-picked head coach that led him to a decade of greatness, unmatched in the NFL. A partnership that lasted for 7 years, so many wins off the field as well, and I welcome in Colts Pro Football Hall of Fame coach, Tony Dungy. I apologize, Coach.
No, I'm with you, Jeffrey.
I
know,
apologize.
I'm with you. I know how much Jim meant to you.
Yeah.
He meant the same thing to me. You talked about our partnership, but man, Jim Irsay was special to me. And Jeffrey, I can take you back to the very, very first phone call. I had gotten let go by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in January of 2002. I come home one day and I'm not feeling great. And there's a 10-minute voicemail message.
Famous for those.
Yes. And it said, "This is Jim Irsay. I want you to call me back. You're the man that I want to lead our team, and here's why." And he went on and talked about, he talked a little bit about Super Bowls, Jeffrey, but he talked more about the team, the organization, the city, connecting with the fans, being part of the community, all the things that were just music to my ears. And then at the end, he said, "I want you to call me back. Don't have your agent call. This is between you and me." And I called Jim back and we talked for about 45 minutes. And he really talked about his vision for the team and making it part of the city of Indianapolis, part of the landscape. And he wanted us to do it together. He wanted to bring a championship there, but do it the right way. And boy, it was really special. It only took me about 10 minutes to say, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to work. And it was just a great partnership from there on out.
But Coach, I'm sure you did your legwork with your team and your family of who am I going to work for? What is Jim Irsay? And we've seen some great stories and eccentric stories through the years of Mr. Irsay, and that partnership even between you two, a gregarious, loud owner and Tony Dungy, that's always even keel. How did that partnership get so close so quickly with your personalities?
I think it was the fact that we had the same things in mind and the same end goal. Jim was just such a caring person, and he wanted the team to be Indianapolis's team. And I wanted the same thing. I wanted our young men to be involved in the city, to represent the Colts the right way, to represent the Irsay family, all of those things. So that was our mission in mind. And we're talking about that in terms of the players that we selected, the staff that we had. And then Jim just really made the Colts complex a family-oriented situation. Everyone felt comfortable bringing their kids there, bringing their wives, just being part of the building. And that's what I enjoyed. And the fact that I could walk down the hall anytime, day or night, and walk in. The door was always open. "Hey, Jim, we want to talk about this. Hey, what about that?" And it just, the more I talked to him, the more I understood this is what we're both all about. And it just was very, very special.
The tenacity of Jim Irsay is a funny one because he's such a loving, as I said, gregarious person and wants to be friends with everybody. But on Sundays, that kind of changed. I mean, he wanted to gut you, Coach. He wanted to gut you. So, like, what were those meetings like when he would call you in and the general manager, Bill Polian, and you guys are rolling through double-digit wins and stuff? Did you always notice that tenacity to get better and better, and what can I do to help the ball club?
Oh yes, he wanted the team to get better, and he would spare no expense, whatever it took. That was the other thing that I really loved. Anytime I went down there and said, "Hey, we could really use this," or "I think this would help us, Jim," there was no question about it. I remember we played a preseason game out in Seattle, and they had this, what's everybody uses now, field turf, but it was just so much softer and so much nicer than what we had. And Jim said, "Hey, the players have talked to me, so we're doing this. We're taking the RCA Dome. new field. We're going to put the same thing in on our complex. I don't even know how much that cost, but he did it in 30 seconds because the players said, hey, we really like this and it could help. That's just the way he was about everything. If we need it, we'll do it, whatever it takes. We want to be the best.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's shown it so many hundreds and thousands of times about helping the community and helping the people that work in the Colts family. And there's some great stories that are personal to you. If I could, just a gentleman that I had the pleasure of meeting, your great father, Wilbur, and you know, you came out and took this job, and we'd see him here and there. And I know the story behind that, you've told that, but a real connection with Jim, and he was a member of the family as well, traveling to all games.
He really was. And my dad was 77 when I got the job. But he would come to practice, come to training camp, come on Fridays. Jim would see him and talk to him. And the first year, 2002, was just really special having my dad there. He'd drive over from Michigan and come to the games. And then Jim saw him at an away game. And he said, does your dad go to the away games too? And I said, well, he does on the ones that he can make it to. And he said, just tell him to come here. We're putting him on the team plane. So 2003 season, my dad went to every road trip on the team plane and hung out with Jim because he wanted him there. And then my dad passed away after that 2003 season. But the memory of me being able to spend every weekend with my dad because Jim just felt it was necessary and special. That's who he was. And those are the things that you never, ever forget, Jeffrey.
Coach, you've had such a great run as this head coach of this franchise, rather, and all of a sudden, you know, the house that some say Peyton built, the house that Jim Irsay built, and a great home for football, Lucas Oil Stadium. And the fun part about that was you were considering not coming back there, and Jim said, "I need you to steward in this new." This new stadium here,
Yes.
because we've got a collection of great players that are going to win some games.
Yeah. When I came in 2002, Jim, we need a new stadium. It's got to be in Indianapolis. It's got to be downtown. We've got to solidify this partnership between the Colts and the city. And that was always his dream. So it comes to fruition. Everything goes through. We're building it. And I came to Jim after our 2007 season. I said, I really think, Jim, this is time for me to step down. We've got it rolling. I think I'm going to step down. And he said, you can't. You have to go in this new stadium. We've got to go in together. And I came back for one more year just because Jim wanted to go into the stadium with he and I together with the rest of the team as one. And it was a special, just the fact that he wanted that made all the difference in the world to me.
We talked about the brilliant football mind of Jim Irsay, a guy we know the stories. You know, a socks and jocks guy back in the day, and going up through the front office. You know, general manager to owner and stuff like that. But those meetings, you guys would talk about and dissect football. I'm going to bring up an incident or one of the examples here in a minute, but I just want you to touch on his football acumen for a minute.
Well, when we first talked, he said, I grew up, I was a ball boy during the Steelers dynasty. I was a ball boy for the Colts. I saw it firsthand. That's what I want to bring, and that's what I want to build. So he had that all the way back from watching football as a little kid, growing, watching, talking to coaches, climbing the ladder in the personnel department, becoming the general manager, and then the owner finally. And he knew football. He knew what he wanted. But the thing I loved about it was he would state his opinion. This is what we need to do. But you and Bill, you're the football guys. So you're going to make the final decision. This is what I see. But it's up to you. And I really respected that. And we'd always ask him for his opinion, but it was never dogmatic. If you don't do this, you're going to get fired.
Right,
No,
right.
this is the way I see it. But you're in charge of the team. And we made a lot of decisions together.
I tell you, and their history has proven that, Coach. One particular stretch of time that if you could touch on was that Super Bowl season. And it's, I think, maybe game 14 or whatever Jacksonville was down there, and Fred Taylor's going nuts, and Jones-Drew goes nuts, and there's 375 yards on your defense. And in the locker room afterwards, there's a lot of people that are, very like, what are we going to do? I don't think this is going to work. We're going into the playoffs and stuff. And obviously you helped steady the ship. But Coach, Jim has talked about that incident through the years many, many times, about your steady presence when you brought the three of you, that three-headed monster between Poley and Irsay and Dungy, and you said, hey, we are going to be fine. If you could just touch on that moment and what Jim was saying, what his reaction was when you say, hey, no sweat, I got this.
I said, you know, I know it looks bad right now, but we're very, very close. The thing we can't do is panic and try to come up with a new formula. We'll get Bob Sanders back. That's going to make a big difference. We've got to move some people around until that time so we can steady the ship. But we're not going to do anything special. We'll do less, as a matter of fact, and fine tune these fundamentals. And I went in to the locker room after that and talked to the team. And we're not making any changes. We're not bringing in any new personnel. You guys can do this, and we believe in you. And I'll never forget, after the AFC Championship game, and there's that piece is embedded in NFL films now, where Jim says, I'm going to throw it back to Tony because he's the steady one.
Yeah.
But that was it. We talked about staying the course, and he was fine with it. Hey, you're the guy I hired, so I believe in you. He had faith in me. I had faith in the players. And 6 weeks later, we're holding the Super Bowl trophy.
Wonderful, wonderful memories. And there's so many peaks and valleys. And Coach, a special moment that happened, the loss of your son, James, when that happened. And I remember that very well, very, very well, that time that happened. And I know that this community and this franchise put its arms around the Dungy family. But if you could just share some of the stories that Mr. Irsay and you had regarding that loss and the passing of James, but everything that happened in the years past.
Yeah, no, he was always special, but that moment in particular for our family, I called him and told him that, you know, hey, you have to understand where we are. And he said, don't even worry about it. Take as much time as you need. This is family time and the team will be fine. And then he chartered a plane and brought every member of the team, all the staff, anybody who had come in contact with James, all the ball boys, just, you know, everybody came down to the funeral. And it was one of those moments where you said, you know, this is bigger than football. We're in this together. And that's a moment our family will never forget.
Coach, I know we go over it. I just put kind of different words here and there, but the messages and questions are still the same because I'm just trying to, you know, memorialize this great man. But when you're walking around the Pro Football Hall of Fame, when you're walking around the set on NBC and people ask you, hey, Tony, what was it like working with Jim Irsay? You know, we've heard the stories through the years of some gregarious things that he does and you know, freeing whales and everything in between. But what do you say when you say, what was he like working as a partner for you?
I couldn't imagine working for a better owner. He was involved. He was there every day. He was hands-on, but he didn't control things. We did things as a partnership. He wanted us to be successful, and he gave us every opportunity to do that, but he still made it like a family. And that is what I remember. I tell people all the time what it was like working there, how enjoyable it was, and the relationships that we had. The last two of our people to go in the Hall of Fame, Edgerrin James and Dwight Freeney, they chose to be presented by their owner, Jim Irsay. That does not happen in the Hall of Fame. People are presented by their wife or their children or a teammate or a coach. It's just very rare that a player is going to say, hey, the person that's most important to me and had the most impact on me in my life was the owner of the team. I think that speaks volumes about Jim, about his relationship with everyone. I can't tell you the number of times I had conversations with him about a player, not about how he was playing on the field, but what was going on in his life. Something's going on in his family life, and we've got to help him out. And that was Jim, just to a T. He wanted to take care of every single person in that organization. I'll tell you another story that's just unbelievable to me. We go to the Super Bowl in 2006. He takes everyone in the organization down, spouses, everybody. That just does not happen. That is Jim Irsay in a nutshell, but it's so rare in this day and age. And that was one of the most enjoyable moments. We're at the party, and there's the male people and the cooks, and everybody's there enjoying this because it was a team win. It wasn't the football team. It wasn't the players. It wasn't the staff. It was the Colts.
Coach, the Colts have announced that they will be using that patch on the back of the helmet, or on the jersey rather, and also on the back of the helmet this upcoming season. Some of the stuff that's went around here is, a lot of the team yesterday and staff were wearing an old weightlifting. That big man could hoist some weight, but I just wanted you know better than most, and you met Jim's 3 daughters early on in your tenure here, and now we go into another era of Colts ownership that's led by Carly, Casey, and Kaylin. And if you could give the Colts fans a little background on what you've noticed through those. You've always been close with that family, even after you retired, but what you've seen from their maturing and how this transition from one ownership and now Jim with his daughters, that's going to flow pretty well, I got a feeling.
It is, and Jim was preparing for this. None of us expected it to happen now. You're thinking maybe it's going to be 8 years from now, 10 years from now, but eventually the girls are going to take over. And he wanted them to be ready for it. And there's no doubt in my mind that they are. They've seen how it works. They understand things, and there'll be a learning curve, but they're ready for it. And just the way Jim took over and the way he grew into it, they're going to grow the same way. But they care about the people the same way. They're going to have the same approach. It's going to be Colts football is going to continue, and Colts family is going to continue. And that's the thing I'm excited about.
Well, hand-picked head coach like he did with you, and basically telling you, hey, you're going to be the head coach here. I don't know if you've agreed on that or not, but I'm just telling you, I love that story, and you'll be connected with Mr. Irsay forever and ever. And Coach, I appreciate you taking the time, and we're going to do this again. There's going to be tributes throughout the summer to Mr. Irsay and the memories that he created with his staff and players, and you're right at the top of the list because I saw a lot of this from the back row, and the specialness that you had, the bond that you had with him and his family, wonderful to watch. And Coach, tip of the hat to you for being a great friend to Mr. Irsay.
Well, he was a great friend to me and my family. He was great for so many people in the area, so many people in the NFL, but I miss him already. Just a special man, and I can't even put into words how much he meant to me and my family.
One of the greatest to do it for the Indianapolis Colts franchise, that's head coach Tony Dungy, who is linked at the hip forever with Colts owner Jim Irsay. And Coach, I sure appreciate the time, and we'll continue this. We'll continue telling stories and sharing some great memories as we go on, especially with you. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Anytime. Talking Colts ball and talking Jim Irsay, I can do that for hours.
Thanks, Coach. I'll join you on that. I can do the same. The great Tony Dungy. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us here on High Volume. There'll be plenty more down the road, and a tribute to a great man that changed the landscape of this city, landscape of the league, and there's stories that are out there that I hope that we all can tell on Mr. Irsay. Some are privileged, some that need to be shared with the community, and I hope to bring that to you guys over the course of this summer and catch up with some past chapters of Jim's life and people that he's touched and worked for him and befriended, and the family as well. And it's a tough time. He was a dear friend. He was a friend first for me, a boss second, and I've had many great memories with him that I could sit here for 12 straight hours and go over what that meant, what that man meant to a lot of people and his way. He was literally wanted to create magic, and he'd say it, man. He'd say, I want to create magic, and he knew what that meant, and creating the buzz around the team, around himself, he loved that because he was larger than life, and he wanted everybody to be happy, and it didn't matter where you were and the stature of your livelihood, or it didn't matter. He just wanted to find out about you and how you're doing today. And you guys out there, a lot of you have met this man, and you've seen him look in your eye and ask about you, and that was his big heart. I don't think the NFL family will ever see an owner like Jim Irsay again. And like I said, that gregarious style and that raspy voice, and making magic was it. It's tough to keep a straight face these days. A lot of tears have been shed, and we're going to continue rolling on in his memory. So I I appreciate you guys watching. I do. I appreciate all the YouTube viewers, and be sure to check out JJ Stankovitz on the Colts show, because those tributes are coming as well. You'll hear it all throughout the summer, and especially when the Colts are showing tributes like this and wearing this pin, and you know about the helmet sticker and the jersey patch. So this upcoming year is win one for Jim. So let's start down that road sooner than later. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching today.